This is Action Hero, a way too generic name for a game that looks to combine the gameplay from SUPERHOT with your favorite action films. This released December 12th, 2024 for the Quest headsets for $20 US, and for this review, we checked the game out on the Quest 3. I loves me some SUPERHOT, and I loves me some action movies, so let's see if I loves me some Action Hero. Hey folks, Ryan for the VR Grid here, and before we get to it, don't forget to do all the YouTube things to help us out, and if you can't get enough VR talk, join us every Thursday live at 9 PM Eastern Time for the Virtual Boys podcast. Now, on with the review. So if you're thinking to yourself, didn't Ryan just review this game? I didn't. That game was Vendetta Forever, which is honestly the exact same premise as this game, though where that focused on more fast-paced action, Action Hero is focused almost entirely upon slow motion. There's no story here to speak of, really. You play as an action hero guy who must play through 5 different movies across multiple scenes while a director derides your efforts or applauds them. You can choose one of 2 directors to listen to, and then you're off to the game. It's that simple. You only have access to 1 movie at the game's onset, though as you complete each one, a new one unlocks, and once you beat all of them, you unlock Director's Cut mode, which remixes all the stages, making them much more challenging, and along with that are weekly challenge maps, which spice things up as well. Now, as far as the actual campaign stuff goes, like I said, man, this is SUPERHOT in VR, so time only moves when you do. So when you spawn into a scene, it's best to be as still as possible, take in your surroundings, and then figure out the best way to dispatch all the enemies in front of you. Each stage has its own easy moments and harder moments, but each campaign, I would say overall, does get slightly more harder, with the last 2 honestly kicking my ass. Now, you're free to take out these guys any way you want. You typically start with a weapon in front of you or nearby, which you can grab, keeping in mind that every movement does make time move forward, though that's not one-to-one, so in typical Matrix-style action, you can dodge bullets, you can cut them out of the air, you can grab an enemy's weapon who's right in front of you, and generally be the slow-motion action god you should be. The action almost always takes place in front of you or maybe to your sides, so there's no real worry about getting attacked from behind, and with each movie being broken up into 4 sections, should you fail at any point during one of those sections, you must start over that entire scene and go again. That can definitely make for some frustrating moments, as on more than a few occasions I died during the final scene, forcing me to go back to the beginning and play through all the stuff I beat already, and doing that once or twice is fine, but on those latter 2 films, I got to the end multiple times, died multiple times, had to replay those stages multiple times, and I didn't always make it to the end on that next go, forcing me to go back again and play again. Look, I'm not saying this is bad, it's a skill thing for sure, but when I was forced to play the same stages over and over and over, it got really annoying, but when I did eventually beat them, I kind of forgave the game for that and just enjoyed the ridiculous action that's in here. Now, should you die too much, the game will give you a golden gun with infinite ammo, and I never tried to use it, but it appears right in front of your face as action's happening, so on more than a few occasions I accidentally grabbed it, which was annoying, so I kind of wish there was an option to just turn that mode off, and just let me power through the game and prove that I'm better than it. Now, of course, you're timed, so you want to get through these stages as fast as possible, and hidden throughout these stages are collectibles, which help add to your final score, and that's really the gameplay loop here, and if your skills are somewhere in line with mine, it'll take you somewhere around 3 hours to get through, though if your skills are better, it'll probably take much less than that. So the stages in here are thematically action movies. There's a Matrix level, there's like an Indiana Jones level, there's a ninja level, and a couple more, and regardless of which stage you pick, they start off normal enough, but then get absolutely insane, and I think that insanity might be my favorite part about this. The opening stage is basically Indiana Jones. So you're going through some of those tropes and navigating the stage, like you would in the movie, and then all of a sudden dinosaurs show up, specifically raptors, and then I just laughed my ass off, as it's hilarious when this game just starts combining genres and mashing them together and just throwing everything at you, and it's hilariously awesome. You get a host of weapons from handguns, machine guns, rocket launchers, swords, ninja stars, and a host more, giving you plenty of ways to dispatch your enemies. Now, as far as the visuals go, it's very cartoony, almost cel-shaded at times, and it looks good, I'm not gonna lie. It's fine for the art style. I kind of do wish there was more detail involved, but I do get it. The cartoony stuff does go along with the over-the-top action, and some of the stages and set pieces can be pretty big because of that, so I'm not gonna harsh it for its visuals, but I will say they do kind of feel a bit dated. For those that are looking for it, there's no real gore to speak of. I mean, you're technically just killing extras and other bad guys, not really bad guys. So you're not dismembering foes even if you're slicing through them, you're just basically connecting with them. And no matter how you connect with them, the second you do, it basically counts as an instant kill, and they'll ragdoll and fall to the side, which can make for some very hilarious moments when you throw an axe and it bounces off some guy's head and hits some guy in the ankle and they both go flying. It's ridiculous and stupid, but it's supposed to be, and it's a damn good time until you hit those walls where you're forced to go back and play again and again and again. But I digress. As far as sound design goes, each stage has its own thematically accurate music, and while some borderline on copyright infringement, in my personal opinion, they all fit what you're supposed to be doing perfectly. So if you're thinking, what does a ninja movie sound like? And you have something in your head, that's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. And when you're playing in the Matrix level on the highway mission, and you're like, what does that sound like? It sounds exactly like the soundtrack from the Matrix.
Next.
You see where I'm going here. And frankly put, I'm glad it's like that. I love the homages, and I love that even the music is paying homage to this stuff. It just makes it feel more authentic, and I'm down for that. Now, outside of the director, there isn't too much happening voice work wise, other than enemies grunting when they die. And the director, like I said, you can choose one of two voices. One guy's more artsy, we'll say. And the other director's a little more no nonsense. It doesn't matter who you pick. You can change it up anytime you want as well. So if you're sick of one director and you want to just listen to the other guy, sure, it's fine. It's fun. I honestly didn't really notice much in the way of 3D audio. I mean, there isn't really too much time for sound to happen without it being annoying. But for the most part, with the action happening in front of you more or less, true spatial audio isn't really needed. And like I said, I didn't really notice it too much. So in those moments where I was kind of panicking and didn't know where to do, it was just easier to look around to see what I was missing as opposed to waiting for audio cues. So once again, given the design of the game here, I'm not going to fault it for its kind of lacking audio presentation, as what's here does fit the action that's actually happening, if that makes sense. It does to me, so I'm happy. There's not too much more to say about Action Hero. It's simple in design, and honestly feels like the SUPERHOT sequel we've been waiting for like 8 years. If you're a movie buff, you'll love all the nods to classic movies and their genre tropes. And if you're a VR fan, the gameplay mechanic of time moving when you do is a perfect one for being in the headset. And I think the $20 price tag on this is pretty much on point. There looks to be more content planned down the road, but even if what's here is all we get, it's a short but sweet package worth your attention. I'm going to give Action Hero an 8 out of 10. It can be a little frustrating at times, but overall this game made me feel like a badass, and that's always a good thing. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to do all the YouTube things to help us out. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching.